Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about the new Wet n Wild Rose in the Air palette. This one is supposed to be really close to the Modern Renaissance palette, and I do believe that it is. This palette is a really good substitute for the Modern Renaissance if you haven't picked it up and really wanted to pick it up but didn't want to spend the $42 to $46. I can't remember how much the Modern Renaissance palette is, but these colors are really similar. So let's go ahead and get into the swatches so I can show you what this looks like here. Here's what the colors are. And then here's my well-used Modern Renaissance palette colors. So as you can see, they're really similar. Wet n Wild did a really good job on this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first transition color, which is gonna be the top one here. And that one is very creamy, very soft. That's what that one looks like. And then the dupe that I think that matches it is gonna be Warm Taupe in the Modern Renaissance. And it's gonna be this one right here. So let me go ahead and swatch that. So those are what both of those look like there. And I'm gonna put them right next to each other. So the top is going to be the one from Wet n Wild. And then here's the Modern Renaissance one. There we go. The one from Wet n Wild, you can build it up if you want to. You can continue to put it up. It's not like a complete dupe, but on the eye, you can't see much of a difference between the two colors. The next color that I think is pretty similar is going to be this one here, which is going to be the orange. Soft, they're super soft. And when you get this palette, you're gonna see a lot of kickback because they are super soft. So that's that one there. And the one that one matches is the color Realger in the palette here. So it's gonna be this orange one here. So those are those two, Wet n Wild and then Realger. So we're gonna do the Wet n Wild one first. There's Wet n Wild. And then here's the Modern Renaissance Realger. They are very similar. They're not exact dupes, but they're really close. The next color in the palette is going to be the white one here. And then the one that is kind of a dupe, Tempera. So this is the Wet n Wild and this is Tempera. So Wet n Wild goes first. And then Tempera will go second. Those are just identical. They look really similar on the fingers, and they look really similar on the eye. The next one is going to be this little guy here, which in the demo you'll see it, where I suggest that you use a damp brush to get the pigment that you want out of it like you would get it from the Modern Renaissance. Otherwise you won't get that. So there's the one in the palette from Wet n Wild, and then Primavera, which is going to be this one here in the palette of Modern Renaissance. So there's those two. So the top again is going to be from Wet n Wild, and then Primavera right below it. Very similar. The one from Wet n Wild has more of an orangey tint than the one from Modern Renaissance, but again, super similar when you put them on the eye. The next one in the palette is going to be this one here, the purpley color one, or this one here. And then that dupe would be Bon Fresco in the Modern Renaissance. There we go. So Wet n Wild and then Modern Renaissance. Very close. I mean, the one from Wet n Wild has more of a purple tint to it, and the one from Modern Renaissance in the palette, I believe, has more of a gray tone to it, but it's still very similar on the eye, like I said earlier. All right, next we've got this guy here. This one is a shimmer color, and Antique Bronze is going to be the dupe in the Modern Renaissance for that one. Here we go. There's both of them, Wet n Wild, Antique Bronze for Modern Renaissance. So we're going to do Wet n Wild first. There we go. And then Antique Bronze here. We're going to be going into this guy here because we've already done the orange. And then Red Ochre in the palette for Modern Renaissance would be the dupe for that one. Now, they are different. This is the one from Modern Renaissance here. And this is the one from Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild first. And then Modern Renaissance here. There we go. So the one from Wet n Wild on top is a little bit more red toned, and the one from Modern Renaissance is going to be a little bit more rusty brown toned, but it's still, again, they look the same on the eye. Next we've got this one here, which is going to be the pinky red color, almost like a love color. And the one in the palette from Modern Renaissance is going to be Love Letter, which is going to be this one here. So I'm going to take that here on this finger. Alright, so let's see here. Top one is going to be from Wet n Wild. And then we're going to do Anastasia next. Very similar. I can't see much of a difference from those two. Okay, next we've got the darker brown in the palette, which is going to be this one here. Very soft. They feel so soft to the touch. That's from Wet n Wild. And the one that I think that looks most like it was going to be Cypress Amber, which is going to be the brown here that you can tell gets a lot of love. So Wet n Wild would be first. I've got Makeup Everywhere. Wet n Wild. And then Anastasia. There we go. Those are almost exact dupes there. The very last one is going to be the last transition in this palette, and it's going to be this one here. Pretty color. And then that one, I believe, is a dupe of either Raw Sienna. So I'm going to go ahead and do Raw Sienna, and then I'm going to do Burnt Orange. So Raw Sienna here, and then Burnt Orange, because they're all kind of similar. So let's see here. Top one is going to be Wet n Wild. There, and then this one is Raw Sienna, and then Burnt Orange here. So I think that Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange are the closest to the transition from Wet n Wild, but they all kind of look similar. So I think that you'll get the color and the, you know, the real closeness to that. This palette has 10 colors in it, and the one that you're getting from Modern Renaissance, you're getting 14 colors. So you're missing a few of the colors, but you get a good range of the colors within the new Wet n Wild. So you're getting pretty close. So let me show you here some of the swatches here. Remember, the top ones are the ones from Wet n Wild, and then the bottom ones are the ones from the Modern Renaissance. Very close, very close. I think that the new Wet n Wild is a really good substitute for the Modern Renaissance. I think it's a great palette. I'm going to show you how everything blends. So as you can see, super pretty, super pigmented. They go on very smoothly. They blend very nicely. Again, they are kind of powdery. Some of these are a little bit more powdery for Wet n Wild, but as far as the pigment goes, the pigment is just great. And what I'm doing is just tapping it on there. I'm not really rubbing it in. You tap, you get more of the color than if you rub it in. And just kind of build a little bit more color up top here. If you want more of a poppy look, which, you know, some of you younger people do, and spray it with your Max Fix Plus, or anything. You can spray it with anything to get more of a glittery glow, and then tap it on that way, and you can see the difference there. It does give you more of a shine that way when it's wet. But I find that I don't need that, but I just wanted to show you that it can be more poppy if you wet your brush. A lot of people don't like to do that. I don't mind it. There are some shadows that can use assistance, and this one would be one that if you don't wet the brush, it's going to be really subtle, but if you wet it, it's more of the color that you get from Modern Renaissance that way. So there we go. There's the eye look there. This is what the eye look looks like without any eyeliner or anything like that, but here in a minute you'll see the way everything turned out, and I shall talk to you guys in a minute. Alright, so here's the finished look. I think this palette is really nice. I highly suggest it for anybody that's looking for something that's remotely close to the Modern Renaissance palette. I think this is a really good palette if you're interested in those particular colors. I really suggest it. I also did pick up the new Wet n Wild Cat Suit lipstick in the color Behind the Bleachers, and that's the color that I have on right now. This also goes on super, super nice. Another thing that I would highly suggest if you love these like blue tone red colors, I think this is a pretty color. I've worn this all day. When I did my Wet n Wild foundation review, the cushion foundation review, this is the lipstick that I had on throughout the whole day. I only had to do a retouch one time after I ate, and that was when I came home before I ended the video. So it lasts for a really long time. Again, I would suggest that you keep this one in your purse so you can do touch-ups if you eat anything greasy like any other, you know, liquid lipstick. But other than that, this thing is an awesome lipstick as well. I believe this one was $4.99 as well, so $5 for the lipstick and then another $5 for the palette. I suggest both of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions about either one of these products, and I shall talk to you guys sometime within the week. Bye!